Hello, and welcome to episode 16 of Strive, where we talk about security, technology, resilience, and everything IT, all in a virtual environment. I'm Darren Thomson, your host, and before we start, welcome to some new surroundings. Changes are afoot at the Commvault offices in the UK, and so, at least for now, I've decamped to my home office. I hope you like it. Feedback, as always, very welcome. Today, I thought I'd share with you the product of conversations that I've been having with security leaders over the past 6 months or so. It's been an interesting first half of 2025 for sure, and I've seen quite a bit of shifting around in priorities within many organizations and many security groups. Before we start today, though, my usual disclaimer. The information shared in this podcast is for general informational purposes only. It does not constitute legal or professional advice, and it may be subject to change. Now, the role of the Chief Information Security Officer, or CISO, has certainly evolved dramatically over the past decade. Once seen as primarily the gatekeeper of firewalls and antivirus solutions, the modern CISO is a strategic player at the intersection of risk, technology, and the business. So in 2025, what's top of mind of the CISO? Let's break it down based on the meetings and conversations that I've been having with security leaders. Number one, cyber resilience. Security teams are no longer judged just on how well they keep threats out, but very much on how quickly they can bounce back when things go horribly wrong. Today's CISO is obsessed with the business of resilience, planning not just for defense, but for survival and for recovery. I've recently been working on a white paper that explores the concept of an idea called mean time for clean recovery. And I think it's this kind of metric that's rapidly going to become standard boardroom conversation with the CISO. The question isn't just how can we stop an attack, it's how fast can we get back after a breach. That shift changes everything from architecture to vendor selection to people and to process. Number two, supply chain and third-party risk. In 2025, breaches have very often come in through the back door. Third-party software vendors, service providers, they're all part of the now extended attack surface. The modern CISO cares deeply about visibility and risk scoring across this extended ecosystem. It's not enough to harden your own perimeter if your suppliers are wide open to attack. Tools that model digital supply chain risk are no longer nice to have as far as the CISO is concerned. They're essential. Number three, regulatory pressure and compliance. The pressure from regulators around the world has never been higher. Here in Europe, Middle East and Africa, we're dealing with NIS2 and DORA. In the US, the new SEC rules are starting to come into effect, and the shadow of personal accountability to the CISO looms large. Reporting timelines are shrinking, disclosures are very public. The questions boards are now asking their security leaders are not just are we compliant and demonstrably so, but are we demonstrably secure and can we prove it? Number four, AI. I was bound to say it, wasn't I? In 2025, AI, of course, is everywhere, and that includes the threat landscape. Attackers are now increasingly using generative AI to craft phishing emails, spoof identities, and automate their reconnaissance exercises. But we, the defenders, are also leveraging AI. The CISO is investing now in AI-powered analytics, behavioral anomaly detection, autonomous response tools. But here's the catch. Trust in AI and AI decisions is a concern. The CISO wants explainability, not just black boxes. So the question is, can AI help us stay ahead without blinding us to the how and to the why? Number five, identity. I've talked about this before, of course, on this very podcast. Despite all of the advances in tooling, identity remains the number one target for a hacker. Phishing, credential stuffing, session hacking, they all exploit weak identity practices. CISOs in 2025 are doubling down on concepts such as zero trust, conditional access, and identity threat detection. The mantra now is clear: assume breach and verify everything and everybody. If your identity controls are flaky, it doesn't matter how good your SIM or your firewall is, you are going to be breached. Number 6, board level communication and business language. Perhaps more now than ever, the CISO is seen as a business leader first and a technologist second. The board does not want to hear about CVEs and patches. They want to hear about risk posture, operational resilience, and the potential financial impact of a breach. So in 2025, the CISO is telling stories in the language of the business, or they should be. They should be using cyber risk quantification, financial models, and impact assessments to explain why should we care, what's it going to cost, and how do we justify the spend necessary to keep us safe. So what does the CISO care about in 2025? Well, resilience, visibility, accountability, AI strategy, identity, hygiene, and meaningful communication with the business. It's a tough role. It's always been a tough role. It's a critical role. And for organizations that want to thrive in the digital future, it's a role that demands not just technical acumen, but leadership, storytelling, and foresight. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Strive. That's all we have time for today. Stay tuned for more stories and insights. And until the next time, stay informed, stay secure, and I'll see you in the next one.